Welcome back to the Sober Sex Sofa. My name is Shanti Patty Owen. I am your host for this channel where we discuss sobriety, sex, and mental health. I am a sex addict, a love addict, an alcoholic, a compulsive gambler, and a debtor. First of all, I want to tell you, this is my first road trip by myself that was longer than 3 hours. I am in a hotel. By the way, do you know anybody who makes their bed before they leave? I'm such an odd duck like that. I just love my bed to be made. Looks clean and neat. Anyway, back to topic. Today's topic is sober success stories. And I am actually going to visit one of my clients that I had almost 3 years ago. She invited me to her wedding last year, and I couldn't make it because I was working with another client as a sober companion. So I said, I promise you, when I have time and that house of yours is finished, because she and her new husband were building a house. When I worked with this woman about 3 years ago, she was completely broken. She lost her home. Whew, it was pretty big. She lost custody of her 2 daughters, and her spirit was broken. But since then, she has been able to get custody of her 2 daughters again. They live with her. They live in this brand new house that she and her husband built. She got her driver's license back. She's truly one of my great success stories. We've kept in touch over the years, and this is the first time I'm going to see her in almost 3 years. I'm really looking forward to seeing her. I cannot wait. I have not met her daughters. I met her husband, who at the time was her fiance. So I'm really excited to get back on the road and to see my wonderful sober success story. Now, I cannot take credit for it. The client has to want it, but I'm there to support them when they do. So stay tuned to part 2. Welcome back. I just got back from the journey in South Carolina with my client, Sally. Now, her name is not Sally, and South Carolina was not my destination, but in order to protect my client's anonymity, I have changed the name and the space where she lives. Although she didn't care, but sometimes people change their mind years later and want to be anonymous, and then it's too late. So, my God, it was so heartwarming to be with her. I left her 3 years ago. That was the last time we worked together. And as I had said earlier, she lost all those privileges. And to be with her in her brand new home that she and her husband built, with her 2 daughters living with her. Wow. I mean, what an amazing mother she is. I know people have lots of prejudices against people with addictions. And being somebody who also has addictions, I understand what it's like from the inside out. There's definitely a stigma. It's like, oh, someone who's an addict cannot be a good mother. But this woman is a great mother. And I did not get a chance to see that aspect of her because her parental privileges had been taken away. Is an amazing mother. She listens to them. She gives them guidance. She has firm boundaries. And she comes from such a deep place of love. I mean, when I arrived at her home, I think we spoke, she and I with her husband, we might have spoken almost 3 hours about one particular daughter that they're really in a conundrum about of how to, in which direction to move with her. And she knows that I've worked with lots of alcoholics and addicts who have children, and it was like, that's all we talked about. Like, she didn't even want to talk about herself. She was really just concerned about her children and how one of her children was having challenges and the way the two relate with each other. And it was so heartwarming. So for any of you out there who are having difficulty getting sober and staying sober. Sometimes people just want to throw in the towel. They're like, well, I've lost everything, my home, my car, my children. What's left? And when I started working with Sally 3 years ago, she had lost all those things, and we were living in a hotel. Oh my God, what a testament to sobriety and to her. Because there are people who when they got sober had much more at their ready than she did. But she had a deep conviction. And now, I can't say all mothers are this way. I've been with other addicts who are mothers and they've lost their privileges and it's taken them 5, 10, 15 years to get them back. She had a one-pointed goal to regain custody of her daughters. And we went to 12-step programs and she went to therapy and she brought me to her church, which I absolutely loved. And living in New York City for 35 years, we don't have these type of churches in New York City. I swear there were 1,000 people there. It was a Christian church. They had music playing. There was a band. I mean, I felt like I was at a concert. And they sang traditional rock and roll songs with words of prayer. It was so uplifting. And even though she lives in a rural area, we drove quite a distance to get to that church. So I think it's really important to have a support system. I know there are plenty of atheists who also get sober and stay sober, but church has been her important support group in addition to the 12-step programs. Her husband, who was her boyfriend at the time I was working with her, my God, he was just above 100 pounds. He had recently had a liver transplant, and he was on his way to get a kidney transplant. They were both heavy drinkers, and his drinking took a toll on his body. He is sober. I mean, he kind of has a built-in sober companion because if he drinks again, he's clearly going to die. When you have transplants, you have to be very, very cautious about everything you put into your system. So they both have, and as I said to Sally, I said, you have yourself an in-house sober companion because neither of you is ever going to drink again or your husband's going to die. And she went, yes, ma'am. So sharing this with everyone because it is the holiday season and sometimes we lose heart. It can be a very challenging time of the year. So whatever you need to do, other than your addictive substance or behavior, whatever you need to do to find community, whether it's for the day, for the week, for the month, or forever. Find those communities. Is it in your church, or is it in your synagogue, or your mosque, wherever that is? Is it just a support group that you have found through a community board? It's a time of year that's really important to connect to people, whoever those people are, that they are people that make you smile. It's really, really important. And I want to thank you all for being back here with me at the Sober Sex Sofa. And again, if you want to ask me a private question or share with me something private, you can do so at my Gmail address, which is sobersexsofa@gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you every week. Have happy holidays, everyone. And I will see you very soon.
Happy holidays!